Haze, Entertainment exclusive.
Brian, Haze, and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down. Lay down.
In the building, Big Mike's away today, so I'm taking this one myself. As you can see, we're in the Canada gear. We got women's national team player Brianne coming on, Olympic gold medalist in Sochi, won silver in China, 2012 gold at the World Championship. Let's go. If you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button right there.
I'm Brianne Jenner, I'm a Cornellian, and I'm an Olympian.
Hi, Brianne.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you? I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
I like the jersey. You're looking good.
Hey, I pulled it out just for you.
Awesome.
I just wanted to take a few minutes to ask you some questions, basically learn about you.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, what's the women's national team experience like?
What's the experience like? For me, growing up, that was my dream, was to play for the team, and I feel pretty lucky to be able to play hockey for a living, represent my country. So, I've it's hard to sum it up, but I've gained so much from the experience, and yeah, there's nothing like representing Canada.
Okay, so you won in 2014. You won gold at Sochi Olympics, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How was that feeling, winning gold and hearing your national anthem? And
yeah, that standing on the blue line here in Canada, I wish you could stop time. It was, I think, just elation and relief too. Because I know, there's so many people beyond, myself standing on the blue line that helped me get there. Making it to an Olympics, it's a big sacrifice, especially, for the most part, we're, amateur athletes. And there's a lot of sacrifice that your family makes and people around you make. So it was pretty unbelievable moment. And I think just relief after a year like that, it's pretty intense training for the Olympics. And so when it's over and you've accomplished it, you just can relax. It's a great feeling.
What's one of the sacrifices you've made to get to where you are?
Well, I think, there's been unfortunately, a lot of social events. I missed a lot of family weddings in high school and university. Lots of vacations, just moments where your kind of hockey is, dictating all your weekends in the winter. And, not to say that there are negative sacrifices at all, but I'm pretty lucky to be able to make those, but you certainly have to kind of put other things on hold when you're trying to pursue an Olympic career. Yeah.
That's for sure. You got the silver though in China. That one sucked, but
yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, I lost in a shootout there, and yeah, it's tough. The time that we were at the Olympics and we won it, could have gone either way, and yeah. I think could have gone either way in Pyeongchang, and that's what makes our rivalry against US so intense, so fiery. It's usually pretty close hockey games and intense hockey games, and yeah, I've been on both sides of it, and I think most people in high level sport have perhaps won at the highest level and lost with on the biggest stage too, and it's all part of that process.
Yeah, one of the questions I had for you a little later was what's it like standing on the blue line and listening to the other team's national anthem?
Yeah, it's no fun. It's no fun, but I think there's a lot of things to be grateful for when you make it to an Olympic Games, and I think there's a mix of emotions. but obviously, you know, no one likes to lose a hockey game, and it's interesting. Silver medal feels better sometimes when you're winning a bronze than it does a silver, because you just lost a hockey game.
Yeah.
And it's obviously tough, and we're hockey players in Canada, so it's anything but gold is a failed mission. So I think for the most part you use it as motivation.
Yeah. I play hockey as well. I play on 2 beer league teams. I mean, it's only beer league, but still get out there.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you won at the 2012 World Championships. You won gold, though.
Yep. It was one of my first years on the team. That was pretty exciting.
Because you were a late scratch in the 2010 Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a late cut. That was my kind of my first invitation to try out for the big team. I was centralized before Vancouver, cut before the Olympics. I was 18 starting that year, and then 19. No, I think it was 18, yeah. And that was a great experience, though. Obviously disappointed to get cut, but man, when you're young in your career, you learn a lot from that.
That's the next question was, what did you learn from that you took towards going to making it next time?
Just what it takes to make the team. And I think what I learned the most was more mental skills from that year. The confidence, just seeing a lot of those legends that it was their last year in Vancouver, and having the opportunity to play with them for most of that season, and just see the way that they treated teammates, their habits. It was really cool for me to kind of have that experience before, a number of them retired. And I was, lucky to play with a lot of great veterans too in my early years on the team. So I think that was a really cool thing about being in the mix for Vancouver.
Yeah, then one of them would be Haley Wickenheiser.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've been trying to get her on the show. We've been working hard. We actually have Jamie Lee Ratley coming up.
Rattray? Yeah, that's my training partner.
Is that how you
interview?
Oh, okay. So I said her name wrong, so I make sure I don't do that.
Rattray, yeah. Jamie Lee Rattray. Yeah, I train with her. Me and her train together all year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got her lined up for next Friday for an interview. So
perfect. She'll be good.
Okay, good. That's great. The Calgary Inferno won the Clarkston Cup Championship 2016. You were a big part of that team. And
yeah.
How is that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, winning the Clarkston Cup, I mean, that's, it was our Stanley Cup. We'll see if we can pull it out of retirement, hopefully in the next couple of years. But it was a really cool experience, and that was the first time our club had ever won a Clarkston Cup. Calgary had never brought it home. And we had a great roster. Had a ton of fun that year, and we really showed up in the final. Like, it was every person contributed. Big team win, so that was a really exciting one.
Do you have any favorite sports heroes?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Canadian women's soccer team, so I follow them, and I was pretty bummed about Tokyo being postponed, but excited that will happen. So I always like following that team, and I think there's so much grit and character on that team. Obviously, Sinclair's a big star, and to see her reach that milestone this year was really cool. But they're great Canadians in that you see the work ethic they put on the field, but they're all really humble too, and I like following them.
Yeah. So did you play soccer growing up?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my kind of sport in the summer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite sports quote?
Favorite sports quote? I kind of like that one that Sidney Crosby has, where he says, you're not, if you don't get nerves, you're not human. And I think that's great, because you hear the biggest name in the NHL say that, and I think it's a great reminder. And I often get asked that from young hockey players. You get nervous at big games, and it's of course, that's nerves are just a sign that you care. So
yeah, that's definitely for sure. 2010, 2011 Ivy League Rookie of the Year, you were.
Yep.
Was that how fun was that year?
Oh, freshman year at Cornell
Yeah.
was a blast. I loved my time there. Just great school, great campus, great hockey fans, and I had an unreal team there. Just teammates that you want to be around every day. We had so much fun at the rink. So, that first year, that was pretty fun.
What's it like to wear the maple leaf?
It's a privilege. I mean, there's a lot of people I know would kill to play on Team Canada, and it's something that we don't take lightly. And I think it goes beyond just hockey. I think we occupy a space in which we're role models for a lot of young athletes, a lot of young female hockey players, and beyond that. And so it's always great to wear the maple leaf, but it's also a responsibility to kind of use that platform to impact people in a positive way whenever we're interacting with people. That's one of our kind of not rules, but guiding principles on our team is, leave a positive footprint in every community that we touch in Canada. So when we have the opportunity to go to, places all over the country, and we want to kind of have a positive impact with every hockey community that we interact with, but just, every Canadian we interact with.
I think Hockey Canada does a good job at teaching ladies and the guys also as they grow up to how to do that and put in the time in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a big part of what Hockey Canada stands for. It's it's not just Hockey Canada is not just Team Canada. It's the grassroots hockey. It's the coaches. It's the volunteers. It's the refs. It's that whole community across the country.
Yeah, the women's game is definitely, this isn't one of my questions, but the women's game has definitely come a long way in the last 15 years.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's, I think, still one of the fastest growing sports in the country. There's so many young girls playing now. There's so much talent coming up. It's crazy to watch these young kids, the way they handle the puck. And it's really exciting. I really believe that we're going to see some big things for women's hockey in the next couple of years. And I'm just excited about where the game's at.
Okay, this one's not on my list of questions for you, but can you scoop the puck and do the lacrosse goal?
Maybe in the first kind of 10 minutes before my
stick gets
tape gets all icy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I would use it ever in a game, but I could try. Maybe that'll be something I'll try to pull out on the next Dream Gap tour.
Yeah, I'm out there every warm up trying to scoop the puck, practicing on it, and then, like you said, it's other than the first couple shifts, you're not getting it up because of the stick tape gets wet. But
yeah,
that and the puck warms up. I find when the puck's frozen, it's easier to do it. What's your favorite number to wear?
19. I mean, I was given that. I wore 11 and mostly 11 growing up. But when I got to the national team, that was Cheryl Pounder had just retired. And so out of respect for her, usually kind of wait a couple of years. And I was like, I can't touch 11, So they gave me 19. And I was like, that's perfect. That's a great forward number, classic number. So
I've actually met her before too.
Oh yeah, Poundy's fun. She's great.
Yeah. What made you get into hockey?
I just fell in love with it from a young age. I started skating when I was 2 and playing when I was 3. And my dad ran hockey leagues, owned hockey leagues. So I played in his, youth hockey league, and he built the rink in the front yard, and I was out there, in diapers. So it's kind of that quintessential Canadian story.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, that's definitely. Who would you say were some of your influences growing up?
Well, I'm really close with my family, so I know it's a boring answer, but my mom and dad, they never ever questioned anything I wanted to do. They just supported me and gave me the tools and helped me, to get to where I am, and tried to keep my heads, not too big, from not getting too big as well. So my dad's probably one of my best friends. I played all kinds of sports with him growing up, and my mom was so supportive. So those two I think, when I talk about, winning a gold medal, it's just as much theirs, I think. There's a lot of sacrifices parents make.
That's for sure. We hear that when we're interviewing a lot of young guys too, that their parents, and I know that too, being 5 a.m. hockey practices growing up, and
Yeah.
it's always mom and dad before work that we're getting you to the rink. So
Yeah.
do you have a player that's your most hated player to play against?
Most hated. Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, the Lamoureux twins, who I now I work with Jocelyn Lamoureux on the PWHPA board, so I really like her off the ice. Great person, but they always have a bit of that edge when they play Canada, which I respect. So they're tough to play against. The Lamoureux twins are always up there, and that's probably most of the Canadian team's answer. I'm trying to think who else. I know. Well, she used to be my teammate, but playing against Courtney Burchard when I played in the CW, when we had the CWHL, she is a tough customer, great defenseman, so talented. Now she's coaching.
Oh.
So yeah, I would say she's up there too. She gave me trouble.
I saw a little line brawl type thing back there after your hit on Josephine Pucci. Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah, that thing, yeah.
Yeah, and you said you could play with a little bit of anger out there.
I don't know about anger, right? It was probably a clean hit, but yeah, no, that was fun. We always had a couple. I mean, the years when we're pre-Olympics playing against the U.S., there tends to be a couple brawls here and there. Outside of, I mean, it's not a World Championships where you kind of get penalized a little bit more for that stuff, so tends to happen in those exhibition games. But that was fun, I think. Sometimes it's hockey, right? It can get intense, but I think there's a respect there. There's a hatred on the ice, but certainly a respect off the ice.
Yeah, that's for sure. And to me, the hit looked clean.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's the Americans whining about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any pregame rituals?
Yeah, I always have a ton of rituals, but they kind of change season to season. And if you're on a winning streak, but I mean, one that sticks is I do left skate first before right. Usually listen to music, stretch on the dressing room floor kind of before warm up. But I'll have like kind of OCD rituals, like if you're on a winning streak or if you're in the playoffs, then it's, you get in a habit of things. But year to year, yeah, like left skate first, coffee pregame. I don't know if that's a ritual or just an addiction. Yeah, and some music.
Yeah, where did you grow up? I know the answer, but
yeah. Well, I Oakville's my hometown, but I kind of have two hometowns. I was born in Oakville, lived there until I was about 5, and then moved to St. Catharines and played all my minor hockey in St. Catharines and grew up there before coming back to Oakville for high school. So kind of both. But yeah, I played for the St. Catharines Sabres growing up. That's the boys organization there. They've changed names so many times now. I'm not sure what they're called. I think maybe the Falcons or Niagara or something. Anyway, yeah, so a bit of both.
Did you play with the boys growing up?
Yeah, I played boys AAA until grade 9 when I went to the PWHL, which is for those not familiar, it's like the OHL for the women's side, so junior hockey in a way. But everyone plays kind of for their local city. So I played boys until I went into that league.
What would you find in your playlist for pregame?
That can change, but I mean, usually I'll have some Tragically Hip. Meatloaf is like one of my favorite pre-games, so you usually find those two staples.
Do you have a pre-game meal?
Usually, I mean, if we're at camp, it's kind of whatever's being served, but I like keeping it kind of light before a game. I'm kind of a bit different than some. I'll have like oatmeal, eggs, maybe some fruit, peanut butter. So I kind of like the breakfast foods. I got into that last year, breakfast foods before, because it just kind of sits nice and easy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I do the big bowl of granola and then maybe a coffee before the game.
Hmm.
You eat big after that. Do
Yes.
you have a
Yeah.
do you have a favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? I love Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't say any of my top movies are sports movies. I find like when you see hockey on like done by Hollywood, it's like it's painful. Like maybe this is polarizing, but like I hate the Mighty Ducks. There's just so many things that I can't deal with.
Yeah. That's true. We actually hear that as the answer a lot. It's everybody says Mighty Ducks. But
I mean, it's fun. It's fun, but like I guess I'm just not a fun person. Like some of the stuff just annoys me when they take their helmets off on the bench and like the triple deke.
yeah, that's not even a good goal.
I'm too grumpy, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay. What's 3 reasons you like being a part of a sports team?
Um, I think the number one thing is like just the healthy habits that you establish from being an athlete. That's a gift that, I'm going to have the rest of my life. I know how to, eat well, take care of myself, exercise. Like I know all those things. And I think you take them for granted. But I've just had, that instilled in me. And so I'm kind of grateful for that. The discipline that sport's given me, the teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, basically all my best friends, are people that I've played hockey with, which maybe means I need to branch out a bit more, but you just develop such a bond with your teammates and you, especially seasons where like it's a tough season and things don't go well. Like you can come out of that with just great friendships and great teammates. And then I think, for me, the experiences that hockey's given me, I've been able to travel all over the world, or the hockey playing countries at least. Yeah. And, I was able to go to a school like Cornell University and get a degree. And, that's, I think one of the silver linings of the women's hockey scene is, we want a pro league and we want to be able to establish that soon. But I guess a silver lining of that is, everyone goes to NCAA or goes to U Sport and gets a great education. We're probably the most educated group of athletes out there. So that's the thing that hockey's given me.
What would you say makes a good captain?
That is a loaded question. I think someone who walks the walk, sets the standards, and is able to inspire others to try to reach those standards, among a million other things. But I think there's so many different styles of leadership, and the good captains, they care about their teammates and they care about showing up every day.
What would you say is your favorite place to compete?
Ooh, playing at Cornell. Some of the rinks in that league in the ECAC were so much fun to play in. St. Lawrence University has a rink that almost looks like a church inside. Like it's all wood. It's beautiful. Playing at Harvard was always really fun because we had a ton of Cornell fans that would come out to that. Yeah, there's so many rinks in that league, but my number one is playing at Lina Rink at Cornell. There's a reason that the Lina Faithful are pretty famous in college hockey. Best pep band in the country, so yeah. I miss playing there.
Okay, what are you doing nowadays? Like when you're not training?
I do a little bit of coaching, so I worked with some local hockey organizations, and I do, quite a bit of public speaking as well. I work with RBC as an RBC Olympian, so I do lots of speaking engagements for them. And but yeah, number one kind of priority is still training and continuing to kind of push to keep my spot in the national team and work towards the next Olympics. But like many of my peers, doing some coaching and getting into that, and I've really, really enjoyed that. I run. In the summer I run hockey schools. I started those. This will be my 4th year. Looks very, very different this year. We're running actually virtual hockey camps We had our first one last week, and it was a great success. Never thought I'd run a hockey school online, but just trying to adapt and make the most of the situation. So I do that quite a bit in the summers, and that's been a really fun way of connecting with young hockey players.
Yeah, right on cue. I was going to ask you about your hockey school, but
Oh, perfect.
how do you do it online now? Like, I know that everything from working out online to us having an interview online, all these things have become available and now part of reality because of COVID, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But people learn to adapt.
Exactly. And if you kind of asked me, 2 months ago whether I would do that, I'd thinking, you're crazy. But I actually learned in the first week of putting one on, there's a lot of experiences that actually you don't normally get in a regular hockey school that are actually better in some ways. I was able to bring in, guest speakers that live all across the country. I was able to bring in, Hockey Canada mental performance coach, a nutrition coach, a bunch of my teammates that are, scattered across the country. And, all the campers were able to ask questions live and engage and chat with me. And, in a regular hockey school, you don't always have those moments. Yeah. I'm on the ice with them, but, they're surrounded, by 25 other skaters and don't, have the opportunity to kind of just ask questions. And so, that was a really, really cool aspect of putting it on. And we're going to put on 2 more, which is really exciting. The structure, I guess, to answer your original question, we've built the program around, being accessible, being able to do it from your basement or your living room or your backyard. And just using household equipment. So we start it's a 2-hour session total per day. You start with about a 45-minute workout. Then we have about a 30 to 40-minute skill session. We're working on stick handling. So, you use your golf ball or your puck or whatever you have, and working on skating mechanics too. And then we kind of finish the day with a classroom session. So it was anything from, mental performance, nutrition. We had a leadership conversation with the other captains of Team Canada. So it was a really cool, I think, experience. Obviously people miss the ice, but just making the most of what we have right now.
Do you stay in touch with Sarah Nurse?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she was really nice. We met her a few times too at I think it was Hockey Fights Homeless.
Hockey Helps the Homeless. Yeah, I've done the Vancouver Hockey Helps the Homeless a couple times.
Oh yeah, see, that's where we met her this year. We met her awesome. Out there. We're very nice person.
Nursey's great. Yeah. Nursey's it's been fun. She's been on the team. I think Pyeongchang was her first year, so it's been really fun having her on the team. And she's a great player, great teammate. Yeah, we always kind of give her a lot of heat in the dressing room, but she's a great sport.
Yeah, I tried to get her on here as well, but it was just the way she took the time to stop and talk to us at the Hockey Fights Homeless, and she stopped. We talked for a good 5 minutes, and then she hustled off to go get ready. But
yeah, that's Nursey. She's like so down to earth, like just can talk to anyone. Like, I think that's one of like her greatest qualities, being her teammate, is she has a great relationship with every single player on the team. And I think that's really cool. And she's so well spoken as well. So she's a great teammate.
Is there anything you would like to promote or plug on here before we wrap this up? My dog's barking at me.
Well, just if there's any hockey players out there listening, I mean, we had a great first week at the Virtual Academy running more camps. It's co-ed. We're running camps July 20th to 24th. Really excited. We've got a great lineup of guests. We've got Toronto Maple Leaf skating coach Randy Milani and mobility coach. So she's going to be joining us. We've got sports nutritionist. We've got mental performance coach. We've got my teammate Blair Turnbull and her boyfriend Ryan Summer, who's a Team Canada bobsledder, putting athletes through a power workout. So we've got all kinds of fun stuff planned. So if there's any young hockey players out there, you can check out jennerhockey.com. We're having a camp July 20th, 24th, and then again we're doing a preseason prep and conditioning camp for 12 to 18, so a bit older age group. That's going to be August 10th to 14th. So if you're a hockey player sitting at home trying to figure out how to get better, check out the Virtual Academy. We'd love to have you.
All right.
How'd you come up with that name?
I used to run a record label, and that was the name of all my albums back in the day. And then when I had to start saving my money instead of spending money on a record label, I wanted to buy a condo, so I stopped doing the music. And then because of COVID, it's like, hey, why don't we try something new? And we launched this during COVID, and now we're a couple months into doing interviews, and we're doing interviews about 4 or 5 interviews a day. So
wow, good for you.
We just put out 35 episodes in like a 2-day span. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Brianne Jenner, forward for Team Canada, and you're listening to I Only Touch Greatness podcast.